What's up? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. And before we get into our interview with Joe List, who can be seen this weekend at Side Splitters Comedy Club, I want to let you know about Metro PCS Speedy Link with over 22 locations from Dade City all the way to Sarasota. They have this Bay Area covered. Their main store is at 7813 Palm River Road in Tampa. If you go there and tell them that I sent you, they will hook you up with a great deal. All right, without further ado, here is Joe List, only on Hoppe Hour. And on the phone line, you can see him all this weekend at Side Splitters Comedy Club here in Tampa Bay. The one and only Joe List is on the show. What's up, dude?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It feels weird hearing your name announced and then no clap.
Dude, you know what I like about you? And I was thinking about it, man. You're very humble. Like, you're a big comic, but you're very laid back. You seem like the type of guy that I could get a beer with after the show and just shoot the shit with, man.
Oh, is that the vibe I'm putting out? That's great. That makes me feel good. I don't drink and I'm antisocial, but I'm glad I'm putting that vibe out that I could hang out with.
I'm kind of a weird guy, so I feel like me and you would mesh well. I'm kind of weird, too, so I feel like we'd have a very good budding friendship.
It sounds great. Let's make this happen.
How has your comedy been going, man? Because I saw you last year, and you killed it. You're one of the funniest comics I saw because you don't try to play a character. A lot of times, it seems like comics try too hard, and it just seems like you go up there and you're like, whatever happens, happens.
Oh, thanks, man. Try hard, but I try to be myself, you know? I mean, like, I work hard on the jokes, but yeah, once you're up there, I feel like I'm like, well, this is me, and I'm telling you these jokes, and hopefully they go well. That's sort of the vibe I have, and Tampa's always a good crowd. I enjoy working the club, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, I try to be laid back. I mean, there's a lot of anxiety while I'm on stage, but I'm glad I'm coming off as like a very fun guy and laid back. That makes me feel good. I appreciate it.
1 to 10, how anxious are you prior to each show?
Prior to the show, not too bad. I'm more anxious in general, in life, like in relationships, talking to people after the show, like talking to meeting and greeting after the show is more anxiety. I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know who I'm going to meet. They might be a psychopath or, try to make love to me or whatever.
And I don't know what Hoppe was thinking about saying that, a person that you grab a drink. As a non-drinker myself, you seem, to me, you give me the vibe of our wives would make us try to meet, and you're actually one of her friends' husbands that would actually be all right to hang out with. I wouldn't really necessarily drink. I don't drink myself, but you seem like a really cool guy. Real quick, I'm actually a big fan of yours, Joe, and a lot of your humor, I would say, there's a lot of self-deprecation in that humor. And do you think that came from anywhere? Did that came from like you in school, or I don't know? Is it just something that clicked?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you got to kind of like that old writing thing of talking about what you know, and you know yourself the best. It's easy to be a little more unique and original if you're talking about personal stuff, and it's comedy, so it's going to be somewhat self-deprecating. You're going to talk about yourself, it has to be somewhat self-deprecating, otherwise you're just like, hey, I'm pretty great, I'm a lot of fun, and having sex well, it's no good, that's no funny. So, no funny, I just said, instead of not funny. I'm an idiot. But yeah, so, you talk about yourself, and it's got to be sort of self-deprecating to be funny. And then a lot of times, like I had my Netflix half-hour special streaming right now, season 2 of the stand-up. That came out, and people wrote articles about, like, there was too much self-deprecating stuff, one negative review. But a lot of it, I don't even think of it as self-deprecating. I'm just like, just look what happened to me. Someone was mean to me, It's like, a lot of the jokes are someone making fun of my look. And I'm like, this person's a jerk. But it comes off as self-deprecating because it actually happened to me.
And, and also, like, you make it funny. And what I keep telling the host, Ryan Hoppe, he tries self-deprecating humor, but it just comes off as not funny. It just comes off as really sad. He'll instead of making jokes, he's just like, I'm a piece of shit. Waits for the laugh track.
One of the risks of it, because there's definitely, if you do too many, the crowd be like, oh, they start like turning, like it's everyone talks about how sensitive everyone is now, and comedy club audiences are very sensitive. They're like that even if you're making fun of yourself. Like, if you do too many self-deprecating jokes, people start to be like, come on. Like, I did a joke for a while, but my ex-girlfriend called me unattractive, true story, behind my back. And people would come up to me and be like, hey, you're not unattractive. And it's like, oh, all right, that's not what I was going for, but thank you. So, yeah, it's risky when you make fun of yourself a lot. People start to turn on you.
Because we're all a bunch of pussies now that get offended by words and jokes, Joe, how is the climate for comedy? Do you have to kind of clean it up when you're up there because you're nervous? Do you kind of look at the crowd and see what the type of person would be, if you can read them? Like, do you ever get nervous going up there doing your comedy? Or are you like, fuck it, I'm just going to be me and see how it goes?
Yeah, more of the thing. I mean, like, the thing is with stand-up is, like, I only have the jokes I have, so there's not really a lot of, wiggle room if the crowd looks older or conservative or sensitive or whatever. I only have the jokes that I have, so it's like I can't really rewrite jokes for them. So I just kind of do whatever my jokes are and hope they don't get too offended. I mean, I don't get too offensive, I don't think. It's mostly personal stuff, and I'm not talking about, politics or whatever. And I do sex jokes, but they're not overly graphic. I'm not like, boy, I really fucked my wife in the ass the other day or anything. So I don't think I'm a very offensive guy. But I try to do it on, like, social media and in person. I try to be sensitive because I don't want to offend anybody there. I mean, I'm terrified of talking to people and saying the wrong gender or whatever the hell it is. So it's more, again, similar to the anxiety question. It's more off stage than on stage.
So, what do you do in your free time to come up with comedy? Because you hear a lot of times people do certain things to help their mind relax and come up with comedy. So when you're not doing comedy, how do you try to come up with new jokes and ideas?
Well, it's just it's a matter of just kind of walking around and living your life, and then when stuff comes up, you're like, oh, that's kind of funny. Or usually it's things that annoy you or drive you crazy or piss you off that you're like, oh, this could be funny. Maybe this is something. And then my sort of process, I text a lot of my comedian friends and be like, have you ever heard anyone talk about this before? And then hopefully they say no, and then I'll just kind of write it and then try it on stage, record it, listen to it, make adjustments, and hope that it works. But yeah, it's a lot of just writing and living life, and a lot of frustration too, because everything's been done, and it's hard to just keep coming up with material. It's kind of a nightmare. I want to kill myself.
Okay, and you were recently you were on one of my new favorite shows on Netflix, the Stand-Ups. Tell me a little bit about that. Like, how was the whole thing? I don't really know. To like a lot of people who don't know really what's going on behind the scenes, is it one of those things where every comedian goes up and on the same night, or do they do different nights?
Well, I did season 2, which is out right now on Netflix, and there was 6 comics, and then they shot 3 comics a night. The 3 shot on Tuesday, on like Sunday night, to do 2 shows, so it's 3, and then like they switch out the audience and then shoot 3 again. And then I was night 2, which was a Monday night, and then I shot with Kyle Kinane and Jeannie Asheray. And so, yeah, it was just 3 comics doing a half hour. They shot it, and then they took that audience out, brought in a new audience, we redid it, and then I took the second show mostly. Didn't really do any editing. It's all one show, and that's it. And it's out right now. So please go watch it, for God's sake. Tell a friend to do the same.
So, if you think about where you were 10 years ago, is it crazy to think that you're on there? Like, do you ever kind of sit back and think about what you've done in comedy?
I do, yeah. It's crazy. Well, it's weird because Netflix wasn't even around 10 years ago. So it's weird to have that feeling of like I got to do the night show, which was amazing, and you're like, this is crazy. I'm on this show that's been on the air since, the 50s. That's insane. But then Netflix is weird because you're like, I can't believe I'm doing Netflix, this thing that's been around for 2 years. But it's now the king of the gang, or the top of the hill, whatever the hell you say. So it's pretty amazing. But yeah, I think back a lot, especially when you do the Tonight Show or Netflix and stuff like that, that I started at an open mic when I was 18 years old in Boston. It's a pretty crazy ride. It's unbelievable. It's exciting.
And I did a little research on you beforehand, and I might be, if I'm wrong, please correct me. you started comedy right out of high school as soon as you graduated. Am I correct?
Yeah, shortly after, it was a couple months later. Yeah.
How did it feel being like 18 and just coming up such a young kid, just going to different comedy clubs? Was there any were you intimidated at all? Was there a lot of stress? How was it being like such a young person doing comedy at that time?
Yeah, it was weird. To me, like the anxiety and stress of not trying or not pursuing a dream or whatever, not shooting, that was greater than the actual anxiety of going on stage. I was more terrified of I was just being a pussy and not trying. So I felt like I kind of had to go do it. And, yeah, it was weird. I was definitely by far the youngest person. And, like, I started at an open mic. There was a bunch of guys like their 40s, 50s there, which was, like, ancient to me at the time. So I was definitely the youngest guy, and there was a lot of shows that I couldn't do because it was at a bar, and you had to be 21 to get in. I couldn't even get in. But I did shows when I was young where right after my set, they would have to be like, you got to get out of here. We can't have you in this bar. So it was weird, but then it was all I knew. I had never done it any other way, so it felt kind of normal to me. It was just exciting and cool to be kind of thrust into a very adult world. But it was fun. It was exciting. I loved it.
Do you look back on what you've done and sort of cringe at your old work, or do you think you were pretty good since the beginning of it?
Well, it's weird. Like, I've always felt pretty good. Like, I always did well on stage, and people were always like, hey, you're good. You know what you're doing there. Like, looking back now, the material is brutal. Like, I'm like, oh, this is terrible material. But at the time, it felt good. So, but yeah, definitely feel like if I did the jokes now, I'd be like, oh, these are horrible, they're embarrassing. But at the time, I was like, hey, I'm pretty good.
Who are some mentors that have had your back, that have given you some good advice over the years?
Oh man, so many. Mostly Boston guys. Nick DiPaolo, I went on the road with him for years, and he was always really great to me. I learned a lot from him. Gary Goldman is one of the major guys that has been really helpful to me.
And I'm sorry because you'll probably get this. You probably had this question asked all the time. But who were some of your comedic influences growing up?
Those like growing up. When I was a kid, like a teenager, and before that, I mean, I loved Bill Cosby, who's obviously a serial rapist now, rest in peace or whatever. And then George Carlin, I was way into. That was like my big guy that I was into. I liked Gallagher when I was like really young. But then once I got like into comedy, then like I got really into Nick DiPaolo and Louis C.K. and Gary Goldman. Those are kind of the guys I really wanted to be. Woody Allen also is like a big. I love him. He's also a sexual predator. I'm just naming a lot of predators here, but yeah, those are kind of the big guys for me. And Chappelle, I love Chappelle as well, but he does such a different thing that it's hard to say he's an influence really.
Why should people come see you this weekend? Because there's a lot to do in Tampa. You can go to the beach. Why should people come see you this weekend at Side Splitters Comedy Club?
They should come because it's a great club. It's a great spot, and it's good to go see live entertainment. You got to go do it. I mean, you got to get away from your phone and your TV and all that crap. And there's nothing cooler than live comedy. It's the best way to see it. I mean, watch my Netflix half hour, please. But it's just better to see a live show. There's nothing cooler than a room full of people laughing. Hopefully they're laughing. And it's a great art form, and we need support. And it's a good show. You'll enjoy it. And it's affordable, too. Those are all good reasons, I think.
So where can people find your work? What are you up to, like your show with Mark Normand and that? What are you up to?
I have a podcast called, you can get all my stuff at my website, comedianjoelist.com. And, I have a podcast, Tuesdays with Stories. It's free every Tuesday with Mark Normand. It's very irreverent, so definitely be prepared for that. And yeah, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Joe List Comedy. My website is comedianjoelist.com. And you can see me season 2 of the stand-ups on Netflix right now.
Well, dude, keep up the good work. It's been a lot of fun having you on the show, and I say in 5 years you will be bigger than ever when it comes to comedy.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.